Okay, so as I was saying, my freshman year of high school, I'm picking the ball off the rack, and I'm shooting bad because when you pick the ball off the rack, you pick it off, and then you're stepping straight forward. There's no way you could step. You can't move into shots in a way that's going to make me shoot with my left foot pointed out and my right foot pointed toward the basket. It's impossible. And it gets more in depth. I could go into details about what good shooters do and what the rack prevents, but I don't want to make good shooters think. But this is just a very surface. So I'm picking the ball off the rack, and I have to step straight forward because the rack is right here. So I'm stepping straight forward and just making my left foot point forward toward the rim and making my right foot go behind. So my dad's like, Ryan, you're shooting square. You're shooting square. But he didn't realize it's because I'm picking the ball off the rack. Yes, I'm going to be shooting square if I'm doing that. So then then my shot's messed up. So as I said, my mom's all upset. My mom's like, what's wrong with you? You're a shooter. What the fuck is wrong with you? So my mom stops going to my games. My dad's like, Marla, he's playing fine. He's playing fine. Because as I was saying, I was still the best dribbler. I was still the best defense. Like defense, I was getting I was a starting point guard varsity as a freshman. So I'm still doing good, but the problem was the shoot away machine messed up my shot. So, and that was the only thing that was messing. My mom wanted to think there was something wrong with me mentally. No, it wasn't. It was a shoot away machine. So I'm practicing like this. So I remember this is my sophomore year of high school. I'm in the backyard. I'm picking the ball off the rack and I'm shooting. And then my dad says, Ryan, you're shooting square. But again, I was the best shooter in the country because I never thought. And I would have stayed the best because I never thought. So if I was just getting passes, I would have been shooting natural and I wouldn't have been thinking and everything would have been fine. But my dad wanted me to pick the ball off the rack and go like this and shoot. No, I'll get into details about that. So then my mom basically is just like, oh no, so I'm picking the ball off the rack, doing this. And I was like, you're shooting square. Yes, because the rack is right here. I'm picking the ball off the rack. It's going to make me shoot square. I can't move into shots natural in a way that's going to make me shoot with my left foot pointed out because of the rack. So then my dad yells, I give up. I fucking quit. I can't help you anymore. You fucking suck now. I can't help you anymore. So then I'm like, Dad, I need your help. I need your help. Come on. Because my dad helped me my whole life. And that was part of the reason I was so good was because I never had to think because my dad always helped me. But there was never any huge problem because I was always just getting passes and everything was natural. And he would just say, just shoot sideways. And I didn't know what he meant. I didn't know that I had my left foot pointed out, but so I didn't know. But my dad's like, I give up. I can't help you anymore. And I'm like, Dad, I need your help. Come on. And then he says, ask me again, I'm gonna fuck you up. So I'm like, come on, Dad, I need your help. He's like, ask me again, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then that's when the abuse started happening. So I felt I needed his help. He was like, no, I give up. You fucking suck now. And then he beat me up. Because I was like, Dad, I need your help, man. Just 15 more minutes. No, I fucking give up. So then my sophomore year, my dad was like, okay, fine. This is what you got to do, Ryan. And this is when he completely messed me up. Because before that, I was still, sort of decent because, but my dad just screwed me up so bad. He did. You couldn't have fucked me up worse than my dad did, dude. So then my dad was like, okay, right. So he asked me in the backyard. He's like, just pick the ball off the rack, go like this, and then put your right foot in front and put to the side. So you're gonna be shooting sideways. Do this. That's the exact opposite of what I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I would catch the ball. It'd be automatic because I'm moving into it. Automatic. I'd catch it. My left foot would be pointed out. Right foot toward the basket. Left foot pointed out. Right foot toward the basket. It's all about just being natural. But you pick the ball off the rack. So when I started picking the ball off the rack, I'd be in the games and I'd catch it and I'd move in the shot like I'm picking the ball off the rack. Or I would just pick it up, I'd catch it and do this. Because that's how I was practicing, picking the ball off the rack. So I'm shooting in games like I'm picking the ball off the rack. And my dad's wondering, why is he shooting square? Because good shooters don't do this. If I would have just been getting passes, I would have been shooting amazing. I would have stayed amazing. So then my dad's like, well, just pick the ball off the rack and go like this. So then I'm in the backyard. He's like, just stand right here, pick the ball off the rack, put your right foot like this, put your left foot forward, and go start shooting form shots. So I'm in the backyard doing this, and I'm in the game catching it and doing this now. If you look at me in the 10th grade, I had videos. I had a few videos, and I want to get more. I had more, but they were lost. During that day, my friends stole my stuff. Stole my car, and then my dad left me to pack my own, and I lost a lot of my DVDs, at least 30. But I had some videos of me in like the 10th, 11th grade, and I'm catching the ball, and I'm doing this. I'm catching the ball, I'm in the game, and I'm going like this, because that's how I'm practicing picking the ball off the rack. My dad is the one who told me to do that. He messed up my shot. That's the exact opposite of what I did when I was the best shooter in the country. When I was the best shooter in the country, I would catch it, my left foot would be pointed out this way, right foot forward, but then my dad told me to do the exact opposite. Left foot forward, right foot like this. So I'm going like this. So, again, my dad just utterly destroyed me. Utterly messed me up too. And if he could have been video recording my games so I could study the swag flow and I could get on all that, but so then my dad just destroys me. Just tells me to do the opposite. So now everything is messed up. And then my dad's like, and then of course I'm gonna be shooting bad. I'm doing the exact opposite of what I did when I was the best shooter in the country. I'm doing the exact opposite of what the good shooters do, because that's what my dad told me to do. And then my dad's like, your shot looks terrible. You're shooting terrible. You fucking suck now. And I'm like, well, what do you expect, dude? He's mad at me, thinking that there's something wrong with me, that something happened to me. It was him. It was a shooting machine, and he told me to do the exact wrong thing. So then my dad's in the backyard, and he's like, Ryan. He says, Ryan, pick the ball off the rack, and then spin into it. Spin. So before I'm just automatic, and a good shooter would do this, and he could do that, and just the left foot would automatically go out to the side. If you move like this, it will automatically go to the side. But if you're just practicing over and over again, picking the ball off the rack and going like this, your left foot's gonna be going forward, and that's what ended up happening. It was a muscle memory picking the ball off the rack. So then my dad's like, well, spin into the shot. But yeah, my dad, you could go like this and then shoot, and your left foot would be pointed out like this. But my dad's telling me, my dad's like, just pick the ball off the rack, because I can't step with my left foot pointed out, because that's why my shot got messed up, because then my left foot starts pointing forward, because I'm picking the ball off the rack, and the rack's right here. And I can't step like I used to step. I used to catch the ball, step with my left foot pointed out, and then shoot. Left foot pointed out, and then shoot. But then my dad's like, no, pick the ball off the rack, and then step forward, and then spin into it. And then put your right foot out this way, and your left foot forward. He told me to do the exact wrong thing. The exact wrong thing. He destroyed my shot. But he didn't know that. He thought he was helping me. He's thinking that he's a genius, and that I just don't, that I'm fucking up. He's the one who screwed me up. But then he's beating me up about it. And I'm like, I give up. You fucking suck. I give up. You're shooting square. You're shooting terrible. Because I would just go back to I'd be like, Dad, just let me shoot. And I just start picking up off the rack and you're shooting square. Oh. And then I'd be like, Dad, and then I give up. I can't help you anymore. And then you go inside. Dad, I need your help. Or he'd be, or then I'd come home that day and I'd be like, hey, Dad, can we shoot around? He'd be like, no, I give up. You can't help you anymore. You suck now. I'm like, Dad, I need your help, man. Because I did need his help. He screwed up my shot, and I didn't know how to fix it. I was always the best because I was unconscious. So then it led to abuse. So he's like, ask me again, I'm gonna fucking beat your ass up. Dad, come on. Then he beat me up. So that's how the abuse started happening. So, and then my mom's on my dad's side, because my mom, as I said, my mom was like, what happened to you? You're a shooter. What happened? You fucking suck now. So as my dad's beating me up, my mom's on my dad's side. My mom started to hate me. So then my grandpa comes in. They bring my grandpa in from Kauai, 11th grade. and my grandpa's like, Ryan, you're just trying to make things happen. If your dad doesn't want to shoot with you, you can't make it happen. You can't force things. Everything is one. Everything is energy. Everything's the flow. It's all the flow. It's all energy event. You're trying to make things happen. Your dad doesn't want to shoot with you. You can't force things. And it's making me into the bad guy. My grandpa never knew how good of a shooter I was. He came from Kauai. So then my mom and dad, my grandpa's like, everything in the universe is one. Everything is just fine. You just have to have trust, right? And everything is just fine. So my grandpa came in. He didn't know how good of a player I was. He didn't know that there was something wrong with it was a shooting machine. I didn't know either. My grandpa's just like, oh, Ryan's just a mediocre player, and he's just a white guy, and he's not a great basketball player, and, you know, and he's trying to force his dad to shoot with them, and he's making, I turned into the bad guy, when really, if you really look at it, my dad was the bad guy. He's the one who got the shoot-away machine. He's the one who messed up my shot. He's the one who told me to do the wrong thing. He's the one who tried to make things happen. I'm not the one. He's the one. He screwed up everything. And then I was the victim. And then I was abused and beat for it. And then my grandpa comes in and he's misdiagnosing the problem. He's like, oh, you're just trying to make things happen, Ryan. And he's thinking there's something wrong with me. Oh, I just have mental issues. I just try to make things happen. I'm just, I'm not in the flow. I just need to accept everything is just fine. But no, not everything was just fine. My dad was abusing me. My mom was abusing me. And it was because of the shoot-away machine. But then my mom's like, yeah, Ryan, everything's just fine. You can't make things happen. Your dad doesn't want to shoot with you. So my grandpa made things 1,000 times worse. My grandpa made things 1,000 times worse. My grandpa never was on my side, never helped me. He was always a victim blamer, and from the very beginning, I always had the impression that he was a right-winger Nazi. That's the way I saw him. I said, in my mind, everything he said, I was smart. I was in high school, but I was like, this guy's just a right-winger Nazi, because my grandpa would teach me things. He'd be like, there is no such thing as an innocent victim. And he was an Ayn Rand fan, right? And I was like, this guy's a Nazi. He's a right-winger white supremacist Nazi, and he's a victim blamer. So he made things 1,000 times worse for me, because I'm the victim in this situation, and he's... and he's like, there is no such thing as an innocent victim. Because again, my grandpa's an existential metapsychiatrist, but I didn't know this. But in existential metapsychiatry, they say you create your reality. So it's basically victim blaming and victor extolling. So my grandpa's like, yeah, there is no innocent victim. You invite things into your reality with your consciousness. So now he could be right, because my whole life I was a Marxist and I was anti-white and stuff. So maybe all this happened because I needed it to happen. Maybe it was punishment from my grandpa. My grandpa would say it's from past lives. If it's not something from this life, it's from past lives. Your consciousness from past lives is carried over, and and your consciousness kind of creates your reality type of thing. But again, my grandpa, he would teach us, but then my grandpa, because I would make fun of my grandpa, but then my grandpa tried to be all rational. So so Dr. Horror was really new age. And he's like, yes, you really do create your reality. But then my grandpa changed it to like, we don't necessarily really create it, but you do invite it with your consciousness, like your superior, like your conscious level. So he was new age light. I call it new age watered down. My grandpa's new age watered down. He was very rational, but also new age. But anyways, he just confused the shit out of me. And he basically, so he took my mom and dad's side. He's like, Ryan, you can't make things happen. So then my dad's like, I needed my dad's help. So my dad would help me. But again, my dad would be like, you fucking suck, because he's telling me to do the wrong thing. And it was a shoot-away machine. He's the one who messed me up. So then my dad's like, oh, you fucking suck. I give up. And then my grandpa would be like, Ryan, you just have to accept bad calls. That's your dad's call. You just have to accept it. But I felt like I needed his help, and I did need his help. I needed help. I didn't know what was wrong with my shot. And there would have been nothing wrong with my shot if my dad never messed it up in the first place. My grandpa's like, you just have to accept bad calls. So my mom and dad are like, yeah, Ryan, you just have to accept bad calls. You have to accept our calls. Everything is just fine. As I'm being beat up. So it's a tragedy. It's really a tragedy what happened. So then I'm basically a huge victim of abuse. But then, so my grandpa's on my dad's side. So my grandpa starts yelling at me. You can't make things happen, Ryan. You can't make things happen. Everything is just fine. And my dad, my dad's yelling at me. My dad's beating me up. My grandpa's on my dad's side from the very beginning. When I'm the victim, I'm the one who's being abused. Nothing would have happened if my dad wasn't the one who messed up my shot and got the shoot-away machine, and I'm going to get into that. But I'm the one who's made into the bad guy. So my grandpa comes in. So then my grandpa has a low estimation of me. He never knew how good of a player I was. And then, like I said, okay, so that's kind of the backstory. In the next lecture, I'll talk about How what happens next in the story?